Everybody, welcome. I have a great show today. I just want to welcome, first of all, thanks for tuning in. You are live with Latinos or Trump, and I am the president, Bianca Gracia, also executive director of Latinos for the President. Today, I am joined by one and only. I'm joined by the most banned woman in the world or in America. Laura, say hi to everybody this afternoon.
Hi, thanks for tuning in and thanks so much for having me on. It's good to see you again.
I love it. Listen, I thank you so much for taking on the interview. There's a lot of exciting things going on in your campaign, and I wanted to take the time to talk to you about it. I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, I kind of keep up with what you're going. It's really sad that I have to kind of just follow you on Telegram because we can't see you on social media. So, we follow you on Telegram. I keep up with everything that's going on, and I think that it's awesome. You're kind of one of those inspirations of hope for all those patriots that have experienced, the censorship, suppressing of information. You are that person that we are just wanting to push forward, and I can't wait till you make it to Congress in November. I can't wait because you're going to be our voice. I mean, you're going to go up there, and I know that you're going to be our voice, Laura. And I'm so excited to have you. Do you want to go ahead and just let us know what's been going on in the campaign? I hear there's some exciting news that happened this weekend.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me on. And for people who aren't aware, since you're right, I am banned on all social media, and a lot of people probably haven't been receiving my updates recently. I'm running for Congress in Florida's 21st Congressional District as a Republican. The 21st District of Florida is in Palm Beach. It includes Palm Beach, Delray, Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, and Wellington as well. And it's very exciting because recently, President Trump and Mrs. Trump just became residents of the district, which includes Mar-a-Lago. And the campaign is having tremendous success. I filed to run for Congress on August 2nd of 2019. And within minutes of filing my run for Congress, it trended number one on Twitter, even though I'm not even on Twitter. I am now on new social media sites called Parler and Gab. And I encourage everybody watching this to get on Parler and Gab if you're not already on Parler and Gab, and to encourage your friends and family to also get off Facebook, get off Twitter, and to get on Parler and Gab, because we need to start encouraging people to support these new and up and coming social media sites that actually support free speech and cater to the banned community and people who are censored. And we know that there's millions of people like me. I know that you were. I know the last time we spoke, Twitter had banned your account for posting facts. Which is something they do commonly to conservatives. And it's one of the reasons why I was largely inspired to run for Congress. When I was permanently banned on all social media and also through payment processors, I'm talking about PayPal, Venmo, GoFundMe, and even Chase Bank temporarily shut down my online access to my bank account. I started thinking to myself, wow, what is happening to me is going to happen to everyday Americans. What has happened to me and will happen to you. It has happened to you, right? Or your friends or people you love. And there's nobody in Congress who is fighting for this cause. There's nobody in Congress really speaking out about this, largely because a lot of the people who are in Congress right now don't even understand this issue on the level that I and many other people who are, I guess you could say, influencers, or maybe people who are younger and grew up using these social media sites really understand. And so I believe that these companies, and I've been saying this for years now, even when I had access to these accounts, that they have plans to influence our elections, right? They did it in 2018. We see the way that they censor President Trump. Twitter has even gone so far as deleting some of his tweets, accusing him of posting misinformation. We see the way that Facebook bans Trump ads, the way that they ban conservatives for voicing support of President Trump. And, whether or not you're conservative or not, it just seems to be anybody who challenges the establishment or the the official narrative, whatever it may be, they get censored or silenced in some way. And I've met people on both sides of the aisle who have expressed their outrage over this to me, mostly conservatives, because it seems to affect conservatives at a disproportionate rate. But I really do believe that censorship is the most important campaign issue in the country right now, because all of us right now are under quarantine. We're in isolation. We are all social distancing because of either federal or state mandated stay-at-home orders. I know here in Florida, Governor DeSantis has issued a stay-at-home order. And when you look at the root cause of coronavirus, okay, it's censorship. The reason why thousands of people around the world are dying and why millions of people around the world are now infected with this virus is because the Communist Party of China censored whistleblowers and are trying to reveal this information to the social distancing. Either federal or state mandated censorship kills. Orders. I know here in Florida, it needs to stop. It needs to end. And somebody needs to address it, and somebody needs to be in Congress to address this. And of course, that's not my own campaign issue, but a lot of people ask me, why were you inspired to run, or what really pushed you over the edge to run for Congress? And this is a very important issue that millions of people around the world are experiencing. And I've had a career for the last 7 years as an investigative journalist, confronting corruption on both sides of the aisle and taking on and lumbering, as I call it, the most radical members of Congress. And that's one of the reasons why they shut me down, right? So I plan on continuing to expose individuals and continuing to call out corruption when I see it. And not only will I be a voice and a representative for the people of Florida's 21st district, but I'll be a voice for all Americans.
Absolutely. We're certainly looking forward to it. I know that our mutual friend Enrique is also, most censored as well through payment processing. They're constantly taking down his store that's his livelihood. That's his business. We have an account, set up to sell our merchandise, and we can't even sell our merchandise, Laura, because they shut him down. They don't allow him to process, credit cards.
Right.
Today.
The crazy part about Enrique is they call him a white supremacist, and he's half black and Cuban. And so these companies are using falsehoods, and they're pushing out blatant lies to deny people their civil rights. Regardless of, whether or not he ends up winning his race or not, he has a right to run. That is his right. He has a right to campaign. And they are denying him access as well. And I've, been in communication with him over the last few months, and he's told me the experience he's had very similar to mine, where his campaign, just like mine, doesn't have access to social media. And, they call him a white supremacist, which is what they call me, even though I'm Jewish. It's crazy, right? And, he's not.
I'm Hispanic.
PayPal.
And they call me white supremacist.
PayPal, right? So, this is a huge problem. And I think that it really threatens the integrity of our elections. And it also demoralizes future generations and other young people who may have conservative values, who think, wow, I'll never have a chance because of censorship. And one of the things that I hope that my race does is I hope that it inspires people. And when I win, I hope it proves to the world, and it proves to the country, and it proves to the Republican Party and the Democrat Party and big tech that it's the American people who decide who wins elections, not big tech.
That's right. And, it's pretty sad, Laura, that even today, I had to have Enrique make sure, typically our lives go on Facebook. We typically have so many other viewers, but I had to go through another avenue, because if your name is associated in anything that's Facebook or Twitter, and we dare say your name or say we're interviewing you, even as a congressional candidate, they'll take us down. And they'll completely shut down my whole account just because I had you on today. So we had to find, this is sad. This is a sad day that I have to find another avenue to talk to you about your congressional race. And, we're not talking about anything other than your congressional race and what you're going to go stand up to be for the people. And, and we have to go around, all these loops and things just to even have an interview with you. And it's really sad, but you know what? We're going to make sure that until it gets taken down or something, but we're going to make sure that after this, we're going to be sharing it and really go forward and say that we had a chance to talk to you today. I'm telling you, whatever you need from us, we're here for you. And we, I take some of your stuff that you have on Telegram and I post it, I'll post it on my end. I'll pull some of the stories, whatever you have or whatever's published, and I'm, we share it. And I know that some of my other people share it. We have to rely on that Telegram app through the phone to share your message. And it's really sad. And so at least you still have email, because I receive all your campaign emails. So I know what's going on with your campaign. I think it's exciting. And you know what, Laura, I think that you are going to be the #1 headline besides Trump winning in November. You're going to win, Laura, and you're going to prove everybody wrong. And we are going to have a voice for America. You're not be bought out by anybody, because you have just run your race, girl. Run it. And you stand up for us. And I know that if there's ever an issue or problem and we call your office, you're going to make sure that we are represented and that you're not going to let these big bully tech companies come after us. I know you're going to be our voice.
And not only am I going to be your voice, but people need to be shamed into caring about this issue. There is a serious problem, and I believe that there's something wrong in Congress right now, given the fact that this is happening to people all over America. And I know for a fact that people have messaged me and told me, and I've experienced this prior to even running for Congress, calling my own representative, Lois Frankel, who's now my opponent, the woman I'm going to unseat in November. She didn't care. Right. And when this happened to you too, right? I remember you telling me that you tried contacting senators and nobody did anything. And
nobody.
There aren't really that many people in Congress or in the Senate right now who are addressing big tech. You have, thank God for Representative Paul Gosar from Arizona, who takes this seriously, and he's been a champion on this matter. And then you have Senator Ted Cruz, who talks about it every so often as well. And then Josh Hawley as well, who, occasionally talks about censorship and also the threat that a lot of these tech companies like TikTok pose to our national security. But we need more representatives in our government speaking out about this. And, look, regardless of whether people want to argue if these are private companies or not, if you have constituents who are banned and they cannot receive your updates, which you are primarily doing on Facebook and Twitter, I believe these representatives need to start getting on Parler. They need to start getting on Gab. They need to start getting on Telegram and diversifying the way they distribute their content, because people are being disenfranchised. And in the middle of coronavirus, in a global pandemic, when people are confined to the internet in the space of their own homes or apartments or wherever they may be, this is the only way to get information in this day and age. You can't necessarily rely on updates from a website. It takes a long time to update a website, but social media is immediate, right? And so I would encourage everybody right now, get on Parler, get on Gab. And, this is a way too that you can also break Twitter and break Facebook. They make money every single time you post a tweet. They make money every time you post a Facebook post, and they run ads and they steal your data and they sell it to third-party users. Start putting your money where your mouth is and build a network of people on these other sites.
Well, back in the day when all this social media even began, the big thing was MySpace. That was the first breaking that everybody was on MySpace. And MySpace is now kind of obsolete. I mean, I think it still exists, but it's really obsolete. No one really out there truly uses it. Yeah. And maybe, you getting into office and you really staring down these, bully tech companies and calling them out for what they've done will eventually start waking people up, because you'll get a bigger voice. They can't ignore you anymore. And so you will. No. And so
you can't ignore me, and this weekend, which you alluded to, it was great because President Trump retweeted a tweet in support of my race. And there was a really big a story about me in the New York Post this weekend, talking about how even while being banned on social media, I've out fundraised the Democrat incumbent 3 quarters in a row now. And so that was, when I filed to run for Congress, people on the left and the right made fun of me. They were really vicious. They were really mean. And they said, oh, she's a conspiracy theorist. She's a racist. She has no chance. She's banned. Her life is, she doesn't have a chance to get in politics, let alone have a career in journalism. And I'm proving everybody wrong, right? And you can do whatever you put your mind to. And if that doesn't, if that's not, representative of the American dream, then I don't know what is. And only in America can you be the most banned or censored woman in America and also be the most talked about woman in America one day. Only in America can you be silenced by the most powerful tech companies in the world, only to be discussed by the president of the United States on a site in which you're banned from, right? That only happens in America. And so I just feel incredibly humbled that President Trump, while dealing with the pandemic of COVID, took some time out of his Sunday to recognize my race and show that it's on his radar. And I'm really looking forward to President Trump voting for me as well. And when I win, I'll be a fighter for the people of District 21, and I'll be representing the Trump family in Congress.
I love it. I love it. That's great. And I really, I believe, and I have, ears on the ground in the whole Florida. As you know, we have state director. I have directors out in Florida working on the Latinos for Trump end. And they tell me, they said, Bianca, she's going to win, Bianca. She's been able to fundraise exactly, even against all odds. You are tenacious and you're a fighter. And it's about time that someone like you, because Laura, I can imagine that coming against all of this, that it's really tough. A lot of people can't continue because you get, people throw everything at you. They write ugly things about you. They come after you. They attack you in every way. It's hard to kind of say, wake up in the morning and go, do I even want to do this? And you have proven that you continue to fight. And I think it's the same thing I saw back in 2016 with Trump. Nobody believed he was going to win. And I was like, no, he's going to win because he's a fighter, and people needed a fighter, not, even when you're hit and you're hit and you're hit, but you bounce right back and you hit back and you come 10 times harder. And that's what I said. I said, that's the thing that won Trump that seat, is the fact that he would hit back. He wasn't in fear. He didn't walk around going, oh my gosh. And that's what I think people see in you. And that's why you're going to win in November. And I am humbled myself to say that I know you and that I've had, dinner with you when you came to visit here in Houston. And I know your heart. Listen, you're not in this because you're trying to make money or you're trying to make a name for yourself. You truly are doing this because it's the right thing to do. And you've been dealing with adversity for a very long time, Laura.
Yeah. And I already had a name. I've already been a household name in conservative circles for many years. I don't need to run for Congress to make a name for myself. I'm doing this because I want to fight for the people, and they really need a champion in Congress who isn't going to be bought and paid for and isn't going to be bullied by big tech or bullied by special interests into, not representing their base. And so I'm looking forward to representing all of my constituents. Unlike Lois Frankel, my opponent, I'm not going to ignore, my Democrat constituents like she ignores her Republican constituents and doesn't return their phone calls or their emails simply because they're Trump supporters, right? I plan to represent and give a voice to people on all sides of the political aisle, because that's what you're supposed to do when you take your oath to uphold the Constitution. Free speech means all speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. And so, if you want to be a part of my movement, I would encourage you to go to lauraloomerforcongress.com, and that's where you can sign up. That's where you can make a donation. And I know that a lot of people are suffering financially right now, with over 22 million Americans unemployed because of COVID-19. But every dollar counts, whether it's $1, $5, $100, or even if you can't do it right now, right? We have several more months till election day. We have a primary election on August 18th, and then the general election on November 3rd. And we're going to win all of those elections. We're going to blow everybody out of the water, and we're truly going to make history. And when I win, I'll also be the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. I know that's something that AOC likes to claim, but I'm actually younger than her, and victory that we'll all be able to participate. And I'm so happy to come on your show. And I think I also want to thank Martine with Lexit, because Lexit recently gave me their endorsement as well. And so hablo español también. So my district has a population of 24% Latinos. Yes. And under President Trump's administration, Hispanic businesses are booming, and female Hispanic businesses especially are booming.
That's
and
right.
I speak to a lot of people, of all walks of life, of all ethnicities, of all backgrounds. And there's a lot of energy here, even in the Hispanic community, for President Trump, and also just flipping this seat red. And I'm going to go into all of these communities. I'm bilingual. I speak English. I speak Spanish, and I'm willing to talk to everybody. And I'm going to put in all the effort I can in order to flip this seat. And I know I have to work harder than other people because I am banned on all social media.
Well, I will tell you something, Laura, that obviously that's why I really wanted to talk to you on the show and make it, public, in that, first of all, I want to say people can find you on Parler and on Gab, and you're under Laura Loomer, or is it Laura Loomer for Congress, or what do you have?
On Gab, Laura Loomer on Telegram, Laura Loomer on Parler, and all these sites are blowing up. I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of followers over there. There are, right? I have 94,000 followers on Parler, right, and growing. On Gab, I have about 30,000. It's not as many as I had before, but when these companies take away everything that you have to rebuild. And Parler and Gab and Telegram truly are free speech communities, and they welcome patriots, and they're not going to silence people for expressing themselves. So that's where you can find me. And like I said before, you can go to lauraloomerforcongress.com and sign up for my emails, but make sure that you check your spam folder regularly, because Google is also trying to censor my campaign too now, and they're sending my emails and President Trump's emails to the spam folder.
Wow. Well, I want you to know that on behalf of Latinos for Trump, our Latinos for Trump organization is a nonprofit, but we have a PAC, Latinos for the President. And I want you to know that Latinos for President, we are going to endorse you.
Wow.
And we're also going to make a donation out to your campaign. Well, we had a meeting and we have talked about this and making sure that we support you. And we also have made it known that if you need some of us to even make phone calls for you so that we can call people in your district, remind them to go vote. Anything that you need us to do, we're going to back you up as much as we possibly can.
That sounds great. That's amazing. And that's what it's going to take. There's always a way. If you can't go under, you go over. You can't go up, you go under. If you can't go through, you build a bridge. And if you can't do that, you're going to learn how to fly. There's always a way to do something, and there's always a way to succeed. And this is a grassroots effort. I've accumulated over 9,000 individual donors. Okay. My campaign is not made up of a few amounts of donors who are making large contributions, right? There are thousands of patriots from across this country, yourself included, Latinos for the President included now, who are coming together in all 50 states to help get me elected, because they believe in this mission and they believe in protecting the First Amendment and opposing censorship. So I'm just truly honored and humbled to have everybody's support. And if people want to come to Florida, if you're here on vacation and you want to get involved and knock doors even just for a few hours, let me know. Right, you can sign up. And my deputy campaign manager is Nivia Lucero. She's a Latino woman as well from Puerto Rico. So we have a lot of Hispanic people on my campaign. We have all types of people on my campaign.
That's awesome. That goes to show that you've really built a united front to get you across that finish line. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that you are going to get past that finish line. And I think we're going to see some major changes, this 2020, especially with this whole, we are seeing our freedoms and our constitutional rights and amendments 1 through 4 violated during this COVID-19. Even though that we're in a health crisis, there was probably better ways to deal with it than to make us all stay home and have these local governments just become a tyrannic government and tell us when we can and cannot come out of our house, what we can and cannot do. And so we are in dangerous times. And I think that, again, it's awesome that you have been able to overcome even all the adversity. You are now telling me you've built a united front of all walks of life, of all colors of people. And you're representing everyone. And, Laura, it even goes to say that even in all of this, that you are willing to win this race and set aside the total bipartisan and say, I'm willing to even represent those that are Democrats, and it doesn't matter on the party, because I'm going to be your voice. And I'm going to be, you're not just saying, hey, I'm going to run on this Republican ticket and only represent Republicans. You know, you are saying, I want to represent everybody. You want to make sure that there's fairness, because you have witnessed, not only from the Democrat Party, but you've witnessed that you also have had some adversity within the own Republican Party. And it's, you know, and the people who are,
I mean, it comes from both sides. And a reminder for some people who may not be aware of this, but, you know, 2 years ago, I disrupted a congressional hearing. I confronted Jack Dorsey when he was committing perjury in Congress. And, you know, I felt compelled as a taxpayer and as a citizen of this country to stand up and disrupt that congressional hearing, because those hearings take place on my taxpayer money, on your taxpayer money, on Americans' taxpayer money. And the last thing I want to witness as a taxpayer is, you know, some billionaire tech CEO who donates to Democrat candidates committing perjury on my dime, right? And so I called him out. And it wasn't a Democrat congressman who shut me up and auctioned me off like I was, you know, some piece of cattle, or auctioned off my First Amendment right. No, it was a Republican. It was a Republican who did it, right? And so it's not like the Democrats are the only people to blame when it comes to tech censorship. And so this needs to be a united front, and we need to teach our representatives again, both Republican and Democrat. That's my dog. She's barking. Sorry. We need to teach our representatives on both sides of the aisle that when you take an oath to uphold the Constitution, that includes the First Amendment. And if we need to remind them to go back and read it, then maybe we will. Yeah. But, you know, until we all understand that it's their duty to uphold the First Amendment and, you know, all of our other constitutional rights as well, you know, we got a lot of work to do.
Well, I can't wait to go and walk the halls of the Congressional building. And I don't know if they'll put you in Cannon building or not, but I can't wait to go walk those halls and see you walking in those halls. And, you know, people are going to really fear you. They're going to be like, no one's going to want to mess with you, because they're going to know that if there's anything you will do is hold them accountable. There's nothing wrong with that. Accountability is huge, and we should be holding people accountable. If they're not doing the job that we sent them to do, we should hold them accountable. And I know that you will also say, hey, if in my district you feel I'm not being, you know, doing the right thing, you're going to say, hey, you know, come talk to me, because I know you'll be willing to hear all sides and do the right thing. So I can't wait to see you walk in those halls and just storm in. And I want to read. I can't wait to see the headlines that we're going to read all about you, about how you are just taking on, you know, big government and taking on, you know, tech companies and holding people accountable. And it's going to be about time. And I can't wait till I see you up there going against AOC and all her little 3 million squad people. You're going to set them straight. Yeah. And I just can't wait. I'm going to be like, go, Laura. I mean, we're going to cheer you on. And like I said, whatever you need from us.
It's going to be exciting. And unlike a lot of these other people running for Congress, I don't need to make false promises about how I'm going to take on the radicals in Congress or take on Nancy Pelosi, because I've already done it. I was the one who put illegal aliens on Nancy Pelosi's lawn at Casa de Nancy, okay? I'm the one who exposed Ilhan Omar for marrying her brother. You know, Rashida Tlaib got so pissed off with me when I confronted her that she physically assaulted me. It's on video. You know, I chased AOC down the street of New York City and asked her why she's such a Jew hater. So these people already know who I am, and I've already taken them on. Which is, you know, one of the reasons why I'm banned everywhere. So, I
love it.
You know, I plan to keep people accountable.
Yeah, keep fighting, Laura. You know that there are so many people that are obviously, you know, standing behind you, supporting you. We are supporting you. And like I said, you know, our endorsement from our PAC is huge. And, you know, like I said, we will be making a donation to your campaign to make sure you get past that finish line in August for the primary and pass, you know, and secure that seat in November. So, you know, like I said, you can count on us. Is there anything else that you want people to know, being especially especially that you are the most banned woman, and there's something that you need our audience to share with people, let us know.
I just want people to know that my lawsuits are still ongoing, and I'm running a very successful congressional campaign. And if they want to be a part of it, they can go to lauraloomerforcongress.com and sign up.
Awesome, Laura. Well, I want to thank you. And I know you're a very busy person and you've already scheduled, some time just to talk to us today. And so anytime that you need us to get a message out, hey, just let us know. We can try to do the format again and help you out. And like I said, we go and follow you. We follow you on Telegram. I think I do have you on Parler, but I follow you on Telegram and I pull stories that you put on Telegram and, obviously share them. And especially sometimes I know you'll send me personal messages saying, hey, make sure this gets out, and we make sure that we get it out. We help as much as we can. So to all our listeners, please understand that Laura here is running for Florida Congressional District 21, as she said earlier. That's in Palm Beach. Did you say Palm Beach, right?
Yeah, it's Palm Beach, Florida, Boynton Beach, Delray, Lake Worth, Wellington. But even if you don't live in Florida, right? As long as you're a United States citizen, there's a way that you can help. You can donate, and
yes.
Eventually you can make phone calls for my campaign. And
yes.
You can also post about my campaign, because it's really about distribution of information. And if you ever come to Florida and you want to participate, just let me know. And regardless of whether you live in the district or not, if you're in Florida, you can come volunteer on the campaign.
And that's what I want our audience to know, and to make sure that they share your message, because if they know other people in your area or in the Florida area that can reach out to you, they know how to go find you. They'll know that they can reach you on another social media platform. They know they can reach you on your website. They can go donate. And I urge everybody who is listening to this message, if Latinos for the President can sit here and endorse Laura Loomer and also make a donation to her campaign, we urge you, to all of our followers and members, that you make a donation to her campaign as well. And all donations, they help out, and the grassroots donations are the best thing in the world. She doesn't need you to make thousands of dollars, but if you can commit to even $25 minimum, it helps Laura. It helps her with making sure she can hire her staff, making sure she has blockers out there, make sure she's got people, make sure she's distributing information. That money is going to help her. It adds up. And so if 500 people hear our message, and even if 500 people give $5, even that's a huge thing.
That's a huge
thing. I really urge y'all to please go.
Every dollar
counts. Exactly.
It's a hard time for people right now, but even $1, because if you get that message to 100 people, right, it all adds up. You get that to another 100 or 5,000 people, it all adds up.
That's right. Well, guys, I thank you so much. And Laura, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon and taking the time from your very busy schedule in coming and talking to us. And we look forward to helping you out in any which way that we can. So guys, thank you so much. Please share this broadcast. As you know, that I had to kind of go in a different route to make sure that, Facebook didn't, shut us down, or Twitter or whatever. So we're going to have to share this in a very non-traditional way. But thank you, Laura, again. Yeah. Many blessings. We're praying for you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.